To the replay viewers. So good to have you here. I was looking up into my ring light. I don't know why. Maybe because the light just attracted my eyes. But then I was like, wait, why am I looking at the light? Uh, Anyways, I could go into a whole topic on that. But welcome to the replay. I'm here with Armand Alvarez, and really excited to have you here. We've chatted about this a bit, and then yeah, just spontaneously Armand reached out and said, "Hey, would you like to go live?" I said, "Yes, that sounds great." And we're going to be speaking about rising above the reflections. So if you know anything about metaphysics, we're getting reflections all the time of varying nature and degree. Some are easy to receive, others sometimes we push back on a little bit. So we're going to be getting into that. Uh, and also, welcome, Armand. Good to have you here.
I'm so excited. This was a spontaneous call, and I was just pondering about, planning versus spontaneity, or just follow the moment into action, like what's calling you and just do it at that particular moment, because oftentimes it just stays somewhere and then you're like, well, I'm not feeling the same way. So that was one of this of not analyzing, intellectualizing, just a feeling. Hey, let's talk. Let's do a live with Bo, and I know it's going to be so much fun. So here we are.
Yeah.
You you started asking me what we would talk about, and you said reflections. And actually, I love this topic um, um, because everything is about relationships. In what sense? Like we all are relating to something or someone, meaning everything is a reflection of our inner state of being. So I would say every conversation actually has as a base this topic, in essence. So um, and you particularly were saying that you're curious about kind of like expanding a little bit more on especially those bugging reflections that trigger you, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the ones that can feel crunchy to sometimes, I mean, yeah, they
Yes.
can feel crunchy when you first receive them.
Okay, this is something I'm gonna actually give you even a tool right now that I'm using. Um, Whenever I'm getting a reflection that I dislike that triggers something within me, at that moment, it's always discomforting, right? So I'm not gonna lie that like I'm getting triggered and I'm like, doing a happy dance. However, um, I actually take a moment, focus on my natural breathing, and then I tune in within myself and I bless this reflection. I bless this reflection because without that reflection, I wouldn't be aware of where I am at this moment in relationship to that reflection. So we oftentimes praise the positive reflections and then kind of like discriminate the negative reflections, but in essence, they both valuable and necessary for a variety of reasons. Negative reflection, number one, clarifying our preference. Without them, we wouldn't know what we actually like. If we would like everything, then we would be like, actually slowly kind of like dying from boredom. And then also, it's a clear indication. So it doesn't have to be, it feels as a negative emotion, just as an indication, but actually, it's not negative. Um, in a sense, it's not bad. Negative and positive, it's not good or bad, right? So unless you give that the meaning, and that's going to be your experience. But let's talk about the good stuff about negative reflections. So we said it clarifies our preference. It shows us and indicates where we are standing vibrationally in relation to that particular reflection. And then it's an opportunity to fall in love one more time with the whole of us, right? Because if we're feeling that in that moment, it's part of us, that's what we are vibrating, right? So trying to eliminate it or trying to put this under the carpet, it's kind of like denying a part of ourselves. So it's a perfect opportunity to fall in love with the fuller version. It's like adding more love to yourself, to the extraordinary self that we are. And then by accepting it, because for me falling in love is actually full acceptance, you kind of like naturally gradually go, well, right now for me it's happening in seconds, unless I've been dwelling so much in that reflection, that then I have to do other stuff. But if I catch up in a moment and I recognize that, then I bless it. I start to fall in love, the process of falling in love with it, and then to kind of like naturally go into neutral space. This neutral space is delicious because for me, between the polarities of negative and positive, is kind of like the balanced state from which I actually can easily move into the direction of my preference, meaning feeling better, right? Because if I'm triggered from here, making the whole jump into feeling amazing, unless we put a smiley sticker in our face, like it's kind of like nothing is impossible, but it's very difficult. So kind of like go into this neutral space, accepting this reflection, knowing it's all you and for you. And I say for you because sometimes we beat up on ourselves saying, well, I know so much. Why this shit is happening to me? Because you want to know more of you, and because you want to expand and because you want to experience variety so you can launch new desires and receive more. So from that neutral space, you start to focus on your preference. And from there, you just start feeling a little bit better and better, and that good and gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder. And then it wasn't a big of a deal. That's it, you know?
Mm. Hmm. Yeah, good stuff in there. I like the going to a neutral place as quickly as possible to then focus on the preference. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm just kind of sitting with how I might play with that because I'm good at catching the emotion. Catching the emotion. Like I'm like okay, like I see the emotion that's being activated here. So like I'll breathe and um, I just focus on becoming centered. Just coming back to center. But yeah, I like the aiming for neutral. Like that feels like I don't know something about like using neutral instead of center. I don't know. There's something about that that I like. Coming to a neutral space. So I feel I'll take that with me and yeah, just play with that. Coming to neutral. Uh,
Neutral, it
so
is the center.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean I know essentially the same thing, but for some reason that neutral word is just really like resonating
Yeah.
because
Well, for some reason, sometimes we use one word so many times that it's just, becomes a different meaning
yeah,
from which it was originally. So, kind of like finding a new way and giving it a new meaning, it's fresher. So, it's
yeah,
not. I would say automatic, so to speak, like you're not talking, let me go to center, like, because I said this so
yeah,
many times that it's just
yeah,
kind of like becomes a little bit meaningless, empty words, right? And always
yeah.
seeing that from different perspective, from a new way, giving it a
Mm,
new word, it's always refreshing because like this, you kind of like are not mm, programmed, right?
yeah, yeah,
With this word, but actually you give it a fresher uh, space for yourself to use it and
yeah.
benefit from it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was feeling, like the new life, new energy from a new word. So I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Well, a question like I'm just curious from your experience, because I know some things because I've watched a number of yours and Costa's YouTube videos, so I do know some things that you share in regards to your life there. But I am curious. So when you get like let's say a reflection from someone else, and it feels, let's say it's behavior that's kind of like aimed towards you, and it feels intense. I'm just curious what your, and it may be situational. It may just, because a lot of things are situational. Do you have like, do you just strictly try to, do you strictly aim to resolve it internally? Or are there times where you feel like you also need to have like a physical conversation?
Yes. It depends, and I will
Yeah.
share to you two examples. So my biggest stubborn mirror is my husband because he's with me 24/7. So that would be a perfect example. Or anyone who I really, really care about. Usually they're super close friends and family members. But let's talk about my husband. So very clearly, I know that every time when he comes and tells me something, reflects something that I don't like, I'm telling you, it's something that I don't like about myself in
Mm,
essence.
okay.
It's just different context, different situations, that showing me, like let me put you in a specific context so it can resonate or be more relatable to a specific, let's say, because now I have to look, I feel so great. Now I have to look at something. Okay, something very simple that happened today. For example, Costa does a few days a week, full day sessions, right? I'm here, like, I've never felt I was birthing so much as I'm doing it now. And I want to express it physically, right? So I'm with Alexander, and I kind of like put myself in a situation to, long time ago, um, into little by little bit being like taking the role of an assistant. Kind of say, like, I'll support you. You are, the superstar type of thing, like you are on a pedestal, and I'm just going to be here, like whatever you want around you. So that translates into everything. One of the things, for me, it's a privilege to spend time with our child, but that's not the only thing I want to do.
Yeah.
So today, when I was like, oh, okay, today he doesn't have sessions, he's gonna take care of Alexander most of the day, then we're gonna spend some time together, and I can do so much that I'm really like flowing into being. And he said, oh, by the way, I just have to do this and this and that and play tennis, da 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 da. Open the door, and he's like, love you, bye. And I'm like, bitch. but but this is I had to laugh at myself, because how can I receive a reflection that I have time to do what I want to do if I do not believe or I'm not in a state of having time, as an
Mm,
example.
yeah.
So he is reflecting me, and this really triggers me because I feel I want to complain. I feel like I'm not respected, that he's prioritizing him above me, and all of that that comes together. But actually it's me not prioritizing me. So okay, at
Mm,
that moment, because I catch it on these early stages, I can tell him, you know what, inside myself I'm telling him fuck you, but but it's just to express it, but why would I say to him, he's such a lovely person, just because I know it's me. And then sometimes if you say that to someone, it can just trickle into a bigger I would say misunderstanding. So why?
yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah.
So what I did today, I just tuned to myself and I said, you know what? Today I'm allowing myself be so present with everything I'm doing. Like it's really what I want to do. It's really my preference and I have time for everything.
Mm.
For everything. He was supposed to be back by a certain time and then he called me an hour and a half earlier. So I'm just saying, as soon as I start to shift, then I didn't have to tell him anything. He started to
Mm.
shift, right? So it's like
Gotcha.
my conversation with me. Now, when there is a situation where it's you even know what to do about this, but you kind of like don't, because sometimes this, you know, victim mode and kind of like complaining is just also kind of like a habit, that you have, and then you just dwell so much of it in it that and the reflection is so strong. It's kind of like it has such a big momentum that not even like breathing or that's that internal conversation at this moment will change. So depending on how much momentum is there, it can be either I can tell him, hey, you know what, I'm gonna complain now and I'm gonna point fingers at you, but just bear with me because I just need to express it, physically, as you said,
Mm.
verbally, and then I can go. But sometimes, not even that, I don't even say anything. I'm just opening my mouth and I'm like, "Ah," you know. And guess what? At this moment, it helps too, you know.
Mm.
So do you want to be there all the time? No, it's not pleasant to you. It's not pleasant to anyone, and it's actually not empowering. It does has a momentary release, so you again can move to neutral,
Yeah.
and from that neutral space, then you can go and focus on your preference, which is how do I, like one of my favorite questions is like if I have if I'm getting a reflection that it's not kind to me, doesn't feel kind. I'm asking myself, would I be kind? You know, would I be kinder to myself in this moment? How can I be kinder to me? How
Mm.
to, I'm not asking because there's, you, I cannot change him by trying to, it's a hit or miss, when it's like, okay, imagine we have, a trigger between, and I come, boy, like this doesn't feel good, you this and that, okay, you can understand it, but it's going to be your choice. It's a hit or miss, you can either accept it or not.
Yeah.
However, when I shifted within myself, since everyone, it's not only a reflection, but it's a different angle of me, it's me speaking to me,
Yeah.
then me shifting in my reality, that person will show me that aspect that I'm currently vibrating
Mm.
from in relationship to this person.
Mm. Can you wait? I'm trying to grasp that. So, mm.
So I cannot, I do not, we all have free will in our reality.
Yeah.
But since in my reality, he's part of my reality, my
Yeah.
husband, if I talk
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
my husband in this case, then
Yeah.
me shifting my internal relationship with myself and in relationship to my husband,
Okay.
since he
That's
is
what I
a
was.
since he is a different angle of me, then in my reality, he
Okay.
has to also show me that which
Okay.
I'm projecting, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't that's what I was doing my best to. So you're saying also paying attention to the energy that you are internally sending to him, or like the energetic relationship you're having with him on the inside. You're saying that's important too.
It's important because whatever when someone is unkind to you or someone is telling you something, it's you telling yourself, pay attention to this.
Yeah.
It's a blessing. It's really a blessing, because
Yeah.
without that, you wouldn't know where you are, and without
Yeah.
knowing where you are, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't have the
Yeah.
awareness. So uh, contrast, as Abraham says, Viola says variety, or just these unpleasant reflections are truly a blessing, because without them, we wouldn't be aware where we are standing vibrationally, what we are projecting, what we are emanating.
Yeah.
And because of those reflections, whether positive or negative, now we can do something about them. Also, same thing goes to when we try to hold on to positive reflection. Let's say we have a positive reflection and we try to hold on to that. Eventually it will bring resistance, because everything is flow and continual movement and
Yeah.
shifting and change. you know by us trying to hold on to any positive emotion, eventually it's going to bring us resistance as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Not trying to hold on to anything. And yeah, that's what I'm taking away from what you've shared thus far is to, when these reflections come in that may feel crunchy, at first in the receiving of them. I like that you're pointing to one, see as an opportunity to ask yourself, like, is there, based on what this is showing me, is there a way that I can be better to myself, like internally, energetically?
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Mm,
Wait, I'm going to interrupt you for a
yeah.
second. Not better, because you already are
Mm,
perfect. There
gotcha.
is not, it's just to recognize this is part
Recognize.
of you. This is not a something you're trying to eliminate, nothing you
Okay.
getting better
Uh,
at. You can say you're mastering recognizing that, because then when you say some better, it implies that it's something wrong,
uh,
and
gotcha.
there is nothing wrong.
Okay.
You
So,
just you just becoming fuller. You It's an opportunity for you to know more of you, of who
okay.
you are from different angles.
Okay. And
Like a
so,
cameras looking around,
yeah,
and
no, I like
cameras
that.
that all the time change. Like
Yeah.
different angles, different
Yeah.
cameras. Yeah, you look from one camera, but guess what? Then you turn, and this camera then changes, and changes angles. It's like infinite angles.
Yeah. So, so then what I'm gathering is whatever's being presented, whatever you're seeing, whatever this angle is, what you're offering is just love whatever angle you're being shown, just love it.
Yes, it's
Mm,
challenging sometimes, but yes, it's an opportunity for you to fall in love with yourself.
yeah. Because yeah, I'm just thinking because like that's yeah, that's initially what I was getting is like, oh, it's like it's something for me to see and shift. Whereas you're offering just it's an aspect of me to see and love. And as I love it, as I just, love it and be willing to see it and love it, it feels like that's inviting the further integration, is what I'm getting.
Absolutely, absolute. You know, because we talk a lot about surrender and let it go,
Hmm.
but then to let it go, you actually have to let it in first. So you
Mm,
opening your heart to a part of
mm,
you that at this moment you disliked as a reflection.
mm. Gotcha.
But then when you open your heart and you accept it and you just fall in love with that, then it dissipates.
Mm.
That's it. It's not there
So yeah.
anymore. you know it's not a big player. It's just it's but when you try to eliminate it,
Mm.
the process of elimination just bring more things to eliminate, to
Yeah.
start with.
Yeah.
And then eliminating is just not accepting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I like that. That's really cool because so in this example, the reflections feel judgmental, they feel like judgmental. And so
Yeah.
what I'm getting from you is what I'm getting is rather than trying to go inside and fix the judgmental thing, it's within me. It's love the aspect of me that tends to judge myself. Love the judgy critic, if you will.
Yeah,
and and loving it and accepting, like you said, that's what allows for a release, because it's no longer
yeah,
pushing or fixing. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna love this too.
yeah. And you allowing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
are allowing.
yeah.
You
It's
relax.
beautiful.
You relax into it. You relax into the love. You
Yeah,
relax into the ease of loving
yeah,
yourself. You relax into the whole of you.
yeah, yeah.
And then that's when you receive. Because actually, I even mentioned a little bit before about then you can, from this neutral loving space, you can focus on your preference. But actually, from that state, you don't even have to focus on that because your
Yeah,
preference is already clear.
yeah,
Your wider perspective, higher self, inner being, God's perspective, it's ready to do this. Bam, and just give it. It's just waiting for you to
yeah,
open, relax, to receive.
yeah,
So it's like literally with this candy, you know, uh, and you just have to press the button. Like these machines that have this thing that, you know, take the teddy bear.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
The electronic
So
arm. Yeah,
imagine every time you're triggered, that teddy bear, a fuller teddy bear is ready for you to drop into your lap, right?
mm,
So by accepting yourself
yeah,
and loving yourself, it automatically does this. Bam. Like you literally don't have to do anything.
yeah.
Like
Mm,
anything in a sense, like you don't have to go there, grab it, like and try
yeah,
it, and no. Just relax
yeah,
into the fullness of you.
yeah, yeah. What I love about that is, yeah, it's really cool. I love this perspective because I see that, just in terms of like fuller integration of all of self. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I have no doubt I'm not the only one, that, yeah, seeing the critic, it's tempting to want to change the critic. It's tempting to want to like get rid of the critic, and like push the critic away, or just be like, I don't need you. Like, I'm going to get rid of you. Uh, and as you said, when you're pushing against, you're essentially like inviting more. And so rather than trying to get rid of the critic, you like embrace the critic and say, I'm going to love you too. Because, somewhere along the way, we developed this critical, aspect. And so saying, I'm going to love you and include you too, exactly as you are. And that is what invites a shift, like, an easy shift by like, I'm going to love you too, rather than like, how do I like cut you out of me?
Oh my god! Do you know how many times I literally laughed at myself? Or oh my god, this is another thing. Or when I laugh at Costa when he's triggered,
Mm,
like I mean laughed, not at him in a sense, but just at it's observing situation. Because like. Costa can be so, usually so aligned and so like and then when you see him I'm like holy shit, this is so funny. And then he's like, why are you laughing? And I'm like trying to have like a straight face and not do it. And the same I do, like because I'm inviting that reflection too, like if I'm getting that, it doesn't trigger me at that moment, but I'm
mm,
literally, it's almost like an echo. Hey, I'm here.
yeah,
Do you love me? Do you really love me? Yes, I love you. Okay, bye. Like
yeah,
and then same with with me when I get this, as you say, inner critic or just judgmental self talk. I'm laughing. Like I have to say, like I'm like uh, unbelievably believable that I'm still having this kind of conversations with myself, when like the other day, I shared this in one of our episodes on the podcast. Like I was Alexander woke up and I opened the door and he was looking himself in the mirror, just fully loving himself, like fully in love with what he was seeing. He wasn't looking, how do I look, what did I did yesterday, what did I think yesterday, what so my dad tell me, what my other dad tell me, like nothing. He was just fully present, fully being in love with that image he was
Oh,
seeing of himself in the mirror.
mm, oh, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Uh, mm. Yeah, I feel like that's like the. I feel like that's the main takeaway here. I feel that could help a lot of people. Is yeah, like what if the getting tongue tied? What if trying? What if instead of trying to cut out the inner critic and say like, how do I eject you and get rid of you forever? It's like, because you can try that and see how that goes, but I'm seeing how that's not working for me. And
Yeah,
so, the alternate being like, okay, I'm going to love you too. I'm going to open up my heart to you and see what happens from that approach. So I'm very curious because you've actually, you've highlighted for me in this conversation that I've still been trying to basically, eject the critic, and I love that you're inviting, like, what if you could love the critic? Like, oh yeah, I like the sound of that.
yeah. and
Yeah,
also and also not dwell in what someone said yesterday, what
yeah,
like just allow the new moment be
yeah,
new and be
yeah,
loving and be
yeah,
kind and be easy and relaxing. It's like, with Alexander, with our son, I also can see this as a perfect example. Like sometimes he falls, gets a moment to when he cries. Or let's say he wants the phone because we don't give him the phone, but we do using, so kind of like a little bit double standard here, but we're working on it as well. And then he wants the phone, and then I take it from him, or then he starts to cry a little bit. But then once he is focused on something else that is exciting to him, do you think he thinks about 2 minutes
yeah,
ago that he was crying or what happened? My dad didn't
yeah,
give me the. No, he's just fully
yeah,
present with the next thing he's doing.
yeah, yeah. No, I've noticed that because I have a lot of nieces and nephews that are quite young, like still 2 and 3, and yeah, I've noticed that too. Like, I'll watch how one of them gets like super upset about something, but then they turn their head and something else catches their eye, and then like that moment's gone. They're like, now this
Yeah,
over here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Our big,
So,
our biggest teachers, aside
oh
from the
yeah.
buggers, from the stubborn reflections like my husband,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
kids, children, biggest teachers.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree.
Well, not
Yeah.
even teachers,
Mm,
reminders
yeah. Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah.
who we are, just reminders,
Yeah.
just constant reminders. Hey, be in the now, be
Yeah.
in the now, 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 now. Now is
Yeah.
amazing, now is good. La 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 la.
Yeah.
And then you start to dance and it's fun, and everything goes good. And then you feel goosebumps and then la, 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 and
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's so important. Yeah. Rather than dwelling on a reflection for who knows how long, it's just like, yeah, it can be simple. That's what I feel. That's what I hear you saying about the children. Like they're reminders that it can be more simple.
Yeah.
Like if you have a moment, like you don't have to perpetuate for the next 3 hours, like or even 30 minutes. Like you can be like, okay, this is another aspect of me that I can love and accept and embrace, whatever it's showing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then
And
okay, what's
actually,
next?
actually, it is very simple. It is very simple. It just takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of
Yeah.
awareness, a little bit of practice, and application.
Yes.
Because, I um, just this morning I opened a new Facebook group, which I called be extraordinary you, creating an extraordinary life for the pleasure, of creating an extraordinary life. And, I'm so excited. For the last 2 years, we've been integrating so much. And now it's like a moment by moment, like
Yeah.
integration. Like before, I could meditate an hour journaling, but then I was like, okay, what do I do with the rest of 22 hours?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
very nice. I did my spiritual workout, so that was now moment by moment. So I'm so excited to go back, not to go back, actually, to integrate some um, simple and fundamental tools and processes that we kind of like gave it for I'm talking about that I gave it for granted, because all this is too simple, like affirmations, for example.
Yeah.
Wait a second, I'm affirming every single moment through my thoughts. My thoughts are affirmations. So let me affirm something else, for example.
Yeah.
Or I don't even wait for the state, let me feel good. No, I also can use affirmation for me to feel better, better, better until I feel good. And then I just, boom, you know,
Yeah.
and filled it.
Yeah.
So, I'm super excited for kind of like really tangible, physical, applicable tools and experience,
Yeah.
knowing that I'm more than this physical body, obviously, knowing that I'm God in
Yeah.
this physical avatar. But then sometimes we want to go so much into the God perspective, then we forget that actually we're physical and we're here also, to experience this physical reality. And this physical reality is super delicious. And guess what? When I die, I'll know everything and I'll be everything and everywhere.
Yeah.
Now I'm here, I'm physical, I love it. And let me allow my God perspective to just flow and express in everything, whether I'm judging or not, whether I'm getting a
Yeah.
reflection, or not. Because guess what? For God's perspective, there is no good, bad. It's just flow, frequency, and knowing more of itself, new ways of expressions.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm huge on integration and embodiment and application because, yeah, that's where I see the real physical life shifts. Yeah, I love um, the wider perspectives. I know that's something you and Costa use a lot, like the wider perspective,
Mm-hmm.
from that broader self, all that is self. So yeah, it's great to understand those, but then yeah, application is where I definitely see the magic, like applying these in situations and then
Oh my
watching.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we're physical. We want to get stuff done. Literally. I know that we talked, like a lot of times, like especially we talk about like don't do action until you're inspired. Well, it depends of the context and where you are. Sometimes actually action can bring you clarity and inspiration, you know? And anyways, we're all dancing uh, between motivation and inspiration. When we observe something outside of us, that's motivation. Whenever we go within, that's inspiration. But I can talk about myself. Sometimes I was like, oh, I'm just gonna meditate and I'm not gonna do anything unless I'm inspired. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And guess what? Even to go to the bathroom, I have to stand up from this couch, go inside, open the door, sit on the toilet, unzip, pee, or whatever. Like, I mean, just even the simple things, need some kind of action. And how delicious is to actually have your hands on the clay and mold it and create, right? Like, it is very delicious. In fact, I non-physical, or my gut or wider perspective, it's all creating. They are creating everything. I'm just asking and relaxing to receive. Um, but physical action can also help you to, for example, soften your mind. Because sometimes when there is a disbalance between, your mind is so, and you're sitting all day and, you just so much intellectual focus, then if you move, if you dance a little bit, kind of like your energies go up, and then this naturally balances and soften up. Anyways, we'll open up new conversation, and I just want to blurb so much. Maybe it's good to just kind of like conclude until the next time, what we've talked about, because I think it was a lot.
Yeah.
We summoned a lot of energy,
Hmm.
and
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. It's been great, and yeah. No. I'd love to do more. I love talking about this stuff, as I can tell you do too.
oh,
But
really?
yeah.
I'm trying really hard to talk. Yeah.
No, I recognize it because it's the way I am too. But yeah, no, this has been great. Yeah, really amazing shifts, applicable shifts, or just, further embracing. So yeah, I love it. It's been very meaningful and fantastic. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And until next time, have fun,
And for
and
those
let's fall
watching
in
on,
love.
yeah, yes,
Let's
I agree.
just continue falling in love.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And if you're on the replay and you enjoyed the energy and the insights and the perspectives that Armand brought through today, just know that I've linked his YouTube along with his
Well, thank
husband
you.
Costa in the description. I've watched a number of their videos. They do talk a lot about integration, and I really enjoy what they have been creating. So, yeah, you'll find that right in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Much love. Thanks again, Armand, and until next time.
Until next time, ciao ciao, toodles.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.